Vikings fans, sometimes the business side of football hits harder than a Sunday tackle. One day, you're celebrating a promising rookie flashing on special teams, and the next, you're refreshing your phone trying to understand why he's gone. This week, Minnesota made one of those tough calls, and it caught everyone off guard. If you love this team and want to keep these breakdowns coming, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and drop your comment below. It really helps this Vikings community grow and reach more fans like you. Because Friday morning, the Minnesota Vikings waived rookie linebacker Kobe King, their 6th-round pick out of Penn State. The move came just hours before the team's Week 8 matchup with the Los Angeles Chargers, a transaction that felt as surprising as it was sudden. King had appeared in 5 games this season, contributing primarily on special teams, and seemed to be carving out a small but steady role in Brian Flores' defense. But football, as always, is about timing and roster math. When the team activated veteran running back Aaron Jones off injured reserve, someone had to go, and this time it was King. It's a tough ending to a promising start. Drafted 201st overall, King was one of those picks fans love, a hard-hitting linebacker with leadership qualities and that old-school Penn State pedigree. In college, he was a mainstay, 46 games, 200 tackles, 18.5 for loss, and 4.5 sacks. He was named second-team All-Big Ten in 2024, a communicator and captain on one of the country's most disciplined defenses. The scouting report from NFL.com called him a big, productive linebacker who thrives in physical contact. And that's exactly what he looked like through preseason: fearless, aggressive, always around the ball. When Kwesi Adofo-Mensah and Kevin O'Connell called his name back in April, it wasn't just about special teams. The general manager even said it out loud. He's a really physical knockback tackler, a guy we see as more than a 4th-down player. Those words made this cut even harder to process, because this wasn't a fringe camp body. This was a pick Minnesota believed in. Then again, this is life in the NFL. Opportunity meets circumstance. With injuries forcing shifts at other positions and a roster crunch coming after Aaron Jones' activation, King became the casualty of numbers, not performance. But what came next changed everything. Within hours of being released, news broke. The New York Jets claimed Kobe King off waivers. Just like that, the rookie who wore purple on Thursday was wearing green by Friday night. For Minnesota, it was a swift and painful goodbye, not just to a player, but to a little piece of their future. Inside TCO Performance Center, the reaction was mixed. Coaches and veterans knew this was the reality of roster management, but for a locker room that had embraced King's energy, it stung. He'd been one of those quiet rookies who fit the culture perfectly: humble, driven, physical. A guy who kept his head down and worked. Those types of players are the backbone of every great defense, even if they don't always make the headlines. Still, from a front office standpoint, this move says a lot about where the Vikings are right now. They're walking the fine line between developing youth and maintaining depth for a playoff push. Aaron Jones' return adds firepower to the offense, but it forced sacrifices elsewhere. Minnesota's defense, meanwhile, remains one of the more complex in football. Brian Flores demands communication, trust, and versatility. Losing King might not show up on a box score, but it removes a young piece who understood that system. And maybe that's what hurts most, the potential that walked out the door. Because linebackers like King don't come around often. Big enough to stuff the run, fast enough to chase the edge, smart enough to call checks in real time. Those are the traits of a long-term starter, not just a rotational guy. Fans might wonder, couldn't the Vikings have stashed him on the practice squad? They probably tried. But the Jets pounced before Minnesota could sneak him through waivers. New York's linebacker room is crowded, but with injuries stacking up, they saw what Minnesota once did: a young talent worth betting on. Still, there's perspective to be found. This is the same front office that drafted King in the first place. They've shown an eye for identifying late-round gems: Ivan Pace Jr., Jay Ward, and others who have turned opportunity into production. And as much as it stings to lose one, it's a sign that the Vikings scouting department is hitting more than it's missing. Other teams are noticing. Picture it though: a cold December afternoon, Vikings versus Jets, and Kobe King lining up on special teams across from his former teammates. It's poetic in a way, 2 franchises connected by one roster move. For now, Minnesota moves forward, sharper, leaner, and maybe a little more aware of how fragile roster construction really is. The NFL never stops. Neither does the dream. Drop your take below, Vikings fans. This channel belongs to everyone who lives and breathes this team.